society.
Bonjour, mon nom est Amelie VENNES et je suis ici avec Chicks Rocks Media pour vous présenter Mat de Watch She Sleeps. So Matt, how are you?
Bonjour. I am fine, thank you. Yeah, great. Very busy, very busy in the lead up to releasing an album. It is chaos.
Okay, as I've been talking to a lot of musicians, and this situation that we have, this pandemic, is actually make them a lot more busier because of the creativity aspect, and also with everything like inspiration, and it's been a bit, I think, a bit different creatively for artists. And I just would like to know that regarding all the documentary that you have posted on the album, which I'm really glad to have seen, and I invite everyone to watch. I just have just a little question for you. And the making of the documentary of Nervous, is it the only one we're going to have of other songs, or is it just only on Nervous?
I think we're trying to document as much as possible from the record. We have a guy who's with us all the time in the studio and in the warehouse filming stuff as it happens. So I think we'll do something for almost every song as it comes out, but it'll all be different, and it'll be dependent on which song it is and the kind of subject behind that song and whatever comes with it in terms of the visuals that we decide to make and the video we decide to do with it. So we felt on Nervous that it was really important to spend a bit more time talking about the message behind the song and like why we wanted to do things that way, rather than normally it doesn't have so many layers to it in terms of the subject, and like it just felt like a really important thing that we should talk about. So we just thought we'd spend a bit more time focusing on that track and letting people learn more about it, and hopefully by doing it, it kind of encourages other people to try and speak more openly to other people around them. Like we thought if we do it, there's no point saying to everyone, hey, you should like make sure that you're looking after each other and make sure that you're opening up and talking about your feelings. But it felt quite contradictory if we didn't really put ourselves out there doing that first, so that we almost say, look, we're uncomfortable doing this, but we're going to do it because it's super important. And hopefully if you can see us sort of taking ourselves out of a comfort zone, then maybe you'd be encouraged to do the same.
Okay, just so that we can go full circle with this. Your song has helped me this week about this interview.
Right.
I do much interview, and somehow, not just because because I'm talking to you, but in general, I do feel a lot of anxiety, especially at my day job. And the Nervous song just keep running, and it felt really soothing, and especially in the chorus when you said you are never alone. And I had this smirk on my face because I'm preparing myself by listening to one of your songs to speaking to you about it.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you very much for that.
Thanks for.
And I don't know if Press does this, but I will, and really thank you for that.
Oh, well, thanks for listening and saying that, because I mean that's it. That's why we want to do it. And I think the song, as soon as the song was coming to life, it carries such an amazing emotion inside it. It's quite it does something I don't know how to explain it with words, which is why we make music, but it does something that's quite like, it's uplifting, but it's pulling at these sort of emotional strands inside you, and like it makes you feel a bit deeper than you might do in a normal moment. So I'm really glad that the song is connecting like that, and to hear you saying that on the other side of the world is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
And you are very welcome. But the one that really touched me the most, which is kind of weird because we're talking about nervous, but you also release You Are All You Need, which also I think that has another very powerful message on it.
Sure.
And when it comes to, I don't really understand a lot of music, but I do understand it as a whole, and I see music as a magical thing. Exactly the way you described about nervous, it brings you up, it gives you something. It's an energy that makes you feel alive. And all you need has actually touched me a bit differently and a bit more, I don't know, say uplifting in a way, because it is true, and I believe in that message too. I am all I need.
Yeah.
Are you, like you said, you're preparing material for maybe other documentaries about music, but I just really can't wait to hear about a bit more about that one.
Sure. I mean, that song, it carries a really powerful message, but it delivers it in a very different way to Nervous. It delivers it in a kind of like more of a sit down, like Nervous, for example, I'd say is the sort of thing you want to sort of sit down and really feel and dig deep into your conscience and think about the things you care about and the people you care about, and it has that sort of depth to it. Whereas You're All You Need is more of a like get up and go, like it's there to energize you, and it's there to the message is like super simple, and it's to stop looking everywhere else for the validation that we sort of crave, and we're constantly waiting to see how many likes we get on Instagram and see who thinks I look like. It's all about the world is really like that now, and we're looking elsewhere for validation when it's kind of the wrong place to look. So that song is about saying like, I don't really care what other people think. Like I'm content in me being me, and it's not about getting praise from thousands of people who tell me that, yeah, you're great. It's about you knowing that you're great, and you're capable, and you can do whatever you put your mind to, but just in that like get up and go. It's quite aggressive, and it's quite, in the chorus I talk about says I'd rather be hated, cursed instead of sacred. It's like, because if that's where you fit, if that's where you feel comfortable, especially like in this world that we're in, it's like we're a counterculture, and we're a subculture with this underground world of music that a lot of people don't even know exists. And you get inside it and you find it's just this absolute realm of its own, and it's this beautiful place, and it's not about being perfect and about being like all the things that the mainstream world kind of urges you to be like. The heavy music scene and this culture is about the opposite. It's about doing what makes you happy, and that song is all about that. It's like, I didn't fit in at school, I didn't fit in at college or anywhere I went, and for years I thought like, what should I change about myself to fit in other places, until you suddenly realize like, no, I need to embrace this feeling of me not fitting in. Is not a negative thing. This is me being me, and stop thinking about changing, and embrace my differences from normal society and like the norm, as people would say it. So like that song is about sort of making you just feeling like you can take on the world. That's what I like. That's what it does to me when I put it on. It makes me want to just walk down the street and be like, right, what are we doing? Like anything's possible.
Okay. Well, it made me want to put my headphones on, and I actually ran a 10 kilometers run.
Boom. There we go.
It fits exactly.
I love that. So many people, so like our close friends who we kind of gave the record to when we finished it, and because of the way the world's been for the last year, a lot of people are like jogging more and running more, and like I'm cycling, and loads of my friends are like doing more exercise, and they all are like, can you send me the record just as one audio file so I can listen to it while I run? And everyone's sort of going, I love working out to sleep. So even my mum said to me, she's like, I've got no motivation on my exercise bike, but if I put sleeps on, I'm just going. And like, That I love that, because if music can translate all the way through me making it 6 months ago in a studio into those little waveforms all over the world into your body, and that energy can come out in other people. That is me getting that rare moment of thinking that's why we do it.
It's actually, I always said that my therapy is my music. And so
Absolutely.
many things, and I don't really listen to genre. I gravitate towards more metalcore and hardcore, but I don't stick into that. I really go into a lot different. But when it comes to exercise, when it comes to, I actually have a playlist that says therapeutic metal.
Nice.
And a lot of your songs are on it too.
Nice.
It's exactly that. I mean, for me, music is magic. Someone just like you are using a talent or using creativity, and that waves and that energy and those vibrations are going to my earphones, and I feel that energy that's translating into actions, and it just made me run the 10K. I usually run too, so I'm really active, so that's not surprising for the people that knows me, but it really, you're all of you need is actually on my running playlist. And
I
when
love that.
hear those lyrics and the way those lyrics are sung, it's actually even more powerful. The message is even more out there.
I love that. Thank you. Maybe we said this after people keep telling us that they're like users in the gym and users to exercise too. We were like, should we do like a workout regime? Like, could like loads of our dudes do like, you know, insanity workout and T25 and those kind of like almost aerobic full body cardio kind of workouts, and when they do them they have music on. And this week we've been listening to Parkway all week, and Parkway are like, I'm just at my desk in the warehouse and they're working out, and this song comes on and it just like takes me off my desk and I'm just like jumping around the warehouse. Then I'm like, right, let's get back to my desk.
I have a stand-up desk and it helps because of that, especially when I'm listening to music. So
I should try that.
Yes, it's been, I cannot sit down more than 5 minutes. So having a stand-up desk is actually easier to be distracted though, but it's actually easier to also stay focused because you can just move around my legs. And
well, you should move like every 40 minutes. You should move, and sometimes I'm at my desk for like 3 hours. Like it's not good.
And moving on to Sleep Society, which was the first one released in I think it was last fall, if I'm not
mistaken. Last October.
And I would like to know that there's also a great song. And I like I said, I haven't listened to the album yet because I really want to wait until the release date to really have that I want to say that magic and at the same time as everybody else. And just talking about those releases really makes me even more eager to listen to it. It's like a build. I'm like, oh, I just can't wait.
Oh, you have a lot of exciting things to come. From what I sort of can gauge from what the record's doing for you, like the first song is just it is that like absolute energizing thing. We were listening to it today, and it takes quite a while to get to the kick in, and when you get there, it like you are ready to go. Makes me want to drive fast.
So on my first listen, do you recommend that I'm actually preparing to go for a run? Or
probably. A run's a good opportunity to do it, and like do it on a run and then do it like on its own.
Okay.
So you can. I think I think we're a band that maybe sometimes take a few listens because our songs, so much goes into them, and there's 3 of us singing almost all the time, and there's like so many. We work on our records really slowly, and we create music really carefully, and like I'm from a punk rock background, and I sort of have a very punk rock approach to the way our band is, but I like it's that collaborated with like an ultra scientific, detailed form of working, which I really enjoy. So I often feel like when you listen to a Sleep song off the bat, it can sometimes just have like, it can be too much for you to come like break down and digest on the first listen. So I often, for me, I'm like, listen to it a few times and it'll start to sync, and all these little things that we hide all over the place, and there's multiple people singing all the time and all these different guitar parts, and just like I hope that we're quite an interesting band, because you can keep getting more out of something the more you keep listening to it.
Do you think after all the albums that you have released, do you feel like this is just like what you said, you have that micro precision when you are composing or adding elements to it? Would you say that all the other albums that you had released help you to build up to this album too, or is just
completely? I think every record we've made, we've sort of stepped out of our comfort zone and tried to do something, not consciously, because we don't really have a plan before we make a record. We just start writing and see where it takes us. But each record, we've been encouraging ourselves to sort of step out of that comfort zone and just keep pushing it. I don't really believe in genres and the sort of walls you could put up between what we were allowed to do and what we're not. I just go with, if we like it and if it makes us feel that energy and that sensation, then that's all we need to put it in. But this one, we almost sat and looked at everything we've made and all the elements that make up our band now after making 5 records, and what do we love about them, which bits are we really proud of and which bits almost work. And with this record, we were looking forward as much as we were looking back in terms of the inspiration from our like previous work. And it really felt like all the things that we've been working on through the other records, that in my opinion, we on those records, we've almost got it, but you can very much tell we're doing something new. And on this record, it felt like those things, those trades, as you could call them, sort of slotted into gear, and it felt like all those things were sort of the training for this record. And I feel like on this record, we've really executed all elements of While She Sleeps from the last 10, 15 years into a really like a piece of music that I'm really proud of. I think it's the best work we've ever done, and I hope that it's going to get received in the same way as we feel about it, because I'm not worried about anything on the record. Some of it's really different, but I can stand really firmly behind it and say this is the best of While She Sleeps.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. Now I'm really eager to listen to it.
I'm eager for you to listen to it.
And one thing, I saw the track listing though, and I noticed that Faker's Flag was not on the album, on the list. And it's also I think it's a single you released that I really love, and I really expected to be there. And
yeah,
I was surprised that it wasn't on the listing.
We never planned it to be part of the record. Quite a lot of people have asked us that question, but when we made it, it was very much just like we knew we were sort of in that gap between the records, and we just thought, how fun would it be to just have a project that's just one piece of music. And normally when you're making a record, it's quite a mountainous task in front of you of like, oh my God, we need to make an hour. And when we were on Faker's Play, we kind of thought like, let's just make one song, see how it feels. And we really enjoyed it. That process was really fun, just like not just keeping our brains quite clear of like, we just have to make one really good song. But it was over a year ago, at least now. It was like, God, I think it'd be 2 years in September since we recorded it. And it just feels like, to me, it feels more like part of So What than it does Sleep Society.
Okay.
I think it's something that we'll probably just do like a little 7-inch release of, but it's quite a nice exercise, you know, to just do one song to kind of like get our blood flowing and get our creative like juices flowing and not attach it to anything. It's just like the equivalent to like I don't know, it's just like a little palate cleanser between albums for us.
I love that. I love that. And also on the listing that the track listing, I also noticed that you had a collaboration with our fellow Canadian, Deryck Whibley of Sum 41.
Yeah.
Aspect of this.
So worth noting on this, are you in Montreal?
We're in Quebec City.
Oh yeah, nice. We absolutely love Canada. Like, it is one of our favorite places on the planet to play. You have some of the best audiences and most amazing people that we've ever been lucky to play in front of. And also, the majority of our favorite bands come from Canada. It has this incredible musical quality, and a lot of bands that we're really heavily influenced by came from Canada. So we've always hoped that Canada understands While She Sleeps in the same way we feel like we understand Canada, and in terms of the music that it's created. And I feel quite lucky to say that I think it does, because when we cross over from playing in America to playing in Canada, it's like 10 years difference from being in the UK. Is crazy. And Sum 41 are one of those bands amongst many others. There's like Billy Talent, Alexisonfire, Comeback Kid, Sights and Sounds. It's a huge list of amazing bands. And Sum 41 were a band that when we were kids, we were huge. They were sort of a gateway band for us. I grew up listening to like punk and Californian punk, and I felt like there was Sum 41 is like you either have Blink 182 or Sum 41. If you start delving into like that punk, like pop punk world, it was sort of between Blink or Sum 41 when we were like 14-year-old kids. And Sum 41 for me was like, I was always on that side because it had this like thrasher influence, and just they're actually quite a similar band to us in a couple of weird ways. Like, it doesn't sound like it on paper, but if you listen to a lot of Sum 41, especially like the Chuck album, we've been influenced almost subconsciously by that band for so many years. Especially that album. Chuck is an incredible record. Does This Look Infected is a really good record too. Like, I mean, they're all great. And we just thought it would be a fun idea to reach out to a load of people. When we were making the record, we sort of make a huge list of like, right, dream team, pick a load of people we'd love to collaborate with, and we'll ask around and see who bites. And Deryck just came back and said, I'm a massive Sleeps fan. And we were just like, hey, how do you even know who we are? And yeah, it turned out that he was really into it, and we sent him the whole song, which we knew when we were when we thought about his collaboration, that we're like, this could work really well with Deryck. It's one of my favorite choruses on the record, and one of the first things I wrote for it. And we did the same thing with Simon Neil on Nervous, where we basically send them the whole song, send them all the lyrics, and us singing all the vocals, and just say, sing the whole song at home with us, and just see which bits feel best and see which bits feel most natural for you. And if you have any ideas to add in your own parts, if you want to change anything, then get involved. But instead of it being this thing where they appear for 20 or 30 seconds in the bridge, it's more of a collaborative, and he sort of joins the band for a song rather than appears for a moment. And it's been a really nice experience to work with people who we grew up listening to. And I still can pinch myself listening to that song because I'm like, how?
Your teenage years are happy right now.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
And you mentioned your love for the Canadian audience, and I also, on a personal note, you know, nothing happens for nothing, I guess, in life. But I was at your last performance in the tour you did with Architects and Die Hard is Murder. I was front row in the Mentale in Montreal, and I kind of received Loz Taylor when he went into the crowd and was supporting it, and he fell on the side and actually fell on me, which I thought was really okay. Because, you know, that's the thing about being in front row at a, you know, at a metal show. That's the kind of casualty that you have to deal with. And I was actually kind of happy, and it was one of the best shows that I've been to in all of life. And you opened that show too, and it was
which venue was it? Was it the place we always play in Montreal? What's the name of it?
It's called the Mtalus.
Oh yeah, Mtalus, yeah.
The Metropolis.
Yeah, Mtalus. Oh, it's an amazing venue. We've had so many good experiences there. Such a good venue, and the crowds in Montreal are just electric.
Yeah, I was actually maybe 10% of the sound was probably me screaming, but that's a whole other thing. Also would like to mention something really curious for me. You also have a feature of the Sleep Society. So when I was in the track, and that's also really curious because you also launched the Sleep Society. There was the song, and there was also your subscription that you did, and yet you have a feature calling the Sleep Society. So I was really as a link between both. Sure.
So obviously the Sleep Society on this record is, we've been talking about doing this idea for years, where we try and change the way that the band actually survives, makes albums, makes content, and basically just survives. If we could turn that into a subscription model and not be tied into the kind of conventional things that come in the music industry, which is essentially borrowing money off people and selling the rights of your songs, and it can be a really messy place when you get into it, and we've had some quite bad experiences. So we wanted to try this idea where we sort of say to everyone, if you want to support the bands you love, because of the way things are now with streaming, streaming doesn't really support the bands you care about properly. So this idea of, if you gave us £4.99 a month, or the price of a couple of copies, that is enough for the band to completely exist and keep making music, keep making albums. And we're trying to encourage other people to do the same thing, because it really, even since we started, it has completely changed our life in terms of the future of the band and what we can make. And one of the things we wanted to do inside it was offer out the chance to sing on the album. So we sorry, I was getting a phone call. So myself and Sean had this part on a song, On Call of the Void, and we sang it just to like a camera and recorded it and said, here's the vocal part. If you want to sing it, then we'll show you how to do it. You put a phone on record, put some headphones in, do it so it's not coming through, the song's not coming through in the phone. And you can send in your vocals, and we'll make this choir out of everyone who's in the Sleep Society or anyone who wants to sing. We gave people a couple of different octaves and harmonies and things, and like 250 members sent in vocals, and we stacked it all up, and we have this choir of Sleep Society members on the song.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, you have a hell of a choir, 250 people.
Yeah, and it sounds so cool because it's in the same way that being at a gig and what a sing-along sounds like is such a magical sound, because it's not everyone singing pitch perfect. It's people singing because they love it, and it's not about you being a good singer or you perfectly being in key. It's just like, but when you put them all together, it blurs and it turns into what like a football stadium sounds like, and the imperfections actually create the amazing sensation that you get from a large audience singing. So yeah, it turned out really cool. First we were getting through and we're listening to him, we're like, oh my god, like what's going to happen here? And we put it together, and suddenly it just turned into this amazing choir of people. Yeah, fun experience.
Do you feel that a lot of people that got into that Sleep Society choir were actually nervous while making that?
Absolutely, yeah. But we tried to explain to people that it's not about being perfect, it's just about being part of it, and that is what contributes. And we've showed some people who are inside the society, we've showed little snippets of it coming together, and yes, it's a real special bit. It's also a lyric from like our first ever record. It's a lyric from the song Crows, which we thought would be a cool thing, of like using something from right at the beginning. Now we've finally made this thing that we've always wanted to make.
Okay, I think that I'm gonna listen. I can do this all day. You have created such an amazing thing that I just can't wait to listen to.
Thanks.
Wait until April 16th for that. And I'd like to
next Friday.
Oh, I know. My birthday is next, so like, and I just would like to say huge thank you to you, Mr. Welsh, and the rest of the band. Say hi. We are thinking about you, and we hope the best for you.
Thank you so much, and cheers for wanting to speak to us and playing it and wanting to talk about us on your platform. We massively appreciate it, and I hope you have a wicked jog to the record when it comes out.
Probably trying to send a picture on social media for that.
Yeah, you should send a picture, send a video of you running.
Yay! I'm gonna do a good video because I'm not a fast runner, but I think that with you are all you need. I'm actually got a bit pacier now, so
nice.
So thank you, and have a nice night.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Cheers, Amelie. Bye.